You are about to engage in the guidebook unit, The Making of a Scientist. The purpose of this video is to help you to understand how two leaders of the scientific revolution, Sir Isaac Newton and Galileo Galilei, used the inquiry process to challenge existing ideas and make important discoveries that still impact us today. In the upcoming unit, you will learn how the inquiry process has led scientists of the past, such as Newton and Galileo, and today to change the way we think about our world. Be sure you have your handout available and something to write with for this video. What is a scientific revolution? Revolution means a huge change and requires leaders to make it happen. We will learn about some of the most important leaders of the scientific revolution. The scientific revolution was not an actual battle, but a time of great change in the way that we began to understand science and the world. In the 16th and 17th centuries, scientists took on a different role, leading to many advances in the areas of physics, astronomy, and mathematics. This new approach to scientific thinking led to amazing discoveries that serve as the foundation for science today. Galileo Galilei played a very important role in the scientific revolution and is often referred to as the founder of modern science. Galileo was an Italian physicist, astronomer, and mathematician who questioned the world around him in ways no one had done before. He was born in 1564 and lived during a time when the role of scientists was much different than it is today. At that time, most scientists followed the teachings of early philosophers and the Catholic Church without question. Galileo was curious and began to test these ideas by experimenting. This was the beginning of the scientific method. Galileo made many contributions to the world of science. He was not afraid to question things, and his innovative ideas made him perhaps the most successful scientist of that time. He once climbed to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa in order to challenge the widely accepted idea that heavier objects fall faster than lighter objects. When the two objects landed at the same time, he realized that he had proven the great philosopher Aristotle, who believed that heavier objects will fall faster than lighter objects, to be wrong. Although many people did not like Galileo for changing existing beliefs, he continued to question the world around him. Perhaps the most important of all of Galileo's contributions was his improvements to the telescope, or the spyglass, as it was called. Galileo's improvements allowed the universe to be seen as it had never been seen before. This led him to discover something extraordinary. At the time, it was believed that the Earth was the center of the universe and that the sun, moon, and other bodies revolved around it. With the help of his telescope, Galileo was able to prove that this was not the case, and that all things actually revolved around the sun. These ideas got him into a lot of trouble with the law and the church, but are now accepted as one of the greatest discoveries of all time. Now you are ready to think about how Galileo changed what we know about science. Think about some things you have learned that supports his ideas and record them on your handout. Pause this video to record your answers and ideas on your handout at the first stop sign. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. Galileo made many contributions to the world of science. He was not afraid to question things, and his innovative ideas made him the most successful scientist of his time. He even climbed to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and challenged the widely accepted idea that heavier objects fell faster than lighter objects. When the two objects landed at the same time, he realized he had proved the greatest philosopher, Aristotle, who believed that these heavier objects would fall faster and the lighter objects would fall slower, to be wrong. Although people did not like him for making these changes or challenging these beliefs, he continued to question the world around him. Sir Isaac Newton was an English scientist and a mathematician born in 1643. Like Galileo, Newton played a very important role in the scientific revolution. Although Galileo died before Newton was even born, Newton was inspired by Galileo's work. He too spent much of his life studying and challenging existing ideas in order to improve science. He is responsible for some of the most well-known scientific theories of our lives. Sir Isaac Newton was a man of many talents. He was a great mathematician and scientist. He studied the properties of light and made important improvements to the telescope, making it smaller and able to produce images more clearly. Most notably, Sir Isaac Newton is the founder of modern physics. His theories on gravity and motion challenged everything people thought about science and earned him fame and respect in the scientific community and around the world. Newton explained that gravity is the force responsible for objects falling, the attraction of matter to other matter, the existence of tides, and even the organization of the solar system. Newton's laws of motion explain that once an object will stay in motion unless something stops it. That 2, the more force applied to that object, the further it will move. And 3, objects that with greater mass will require more force to move. These remain some of the most important scientific principles that continue to be taught in almost all science classrooms. Now you're ready to think about how Isaac Newton's ideas helped us learn more about the world. Think about some of the things you have learned that support this idea and record them on your handout. Pause this video to record your answers on your handout at the second stop sign. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. Newton's questions challenged many existing theories. Here are a few questions we now know more about because of this. You have learned about 2 of the scientists that led the scientific revolution, Newton and Galileo, and how they changed the way that we think about the world. As you read the text in the ELA Guidebook Unit, The Making of the Scientist, you will use this information as you take a closer look at the contributions of these scientists and how they use the inquiry process to answer big questions about the world. When you finish this video, be sure to turn in your completed handout to your teacher.